What to do if your doe has had a litter without a nest box? Or can they have litters without a nest box? First off, yes, if they're pregnant and the babies are coming, they're gonna come no matter what. So this could happen if you have dates mixed up, or maybe I've had this happen to me one time to where the cages were not far enough apart that they made the deed happen through the wire. I was racking my brain trying to go like, did I forget? Did I breed her and not write it down? And I was just like, there's no way I did. She was too young yet. She made it happen between the wire. So I go out and I find babies all over the cage wire, right? So what do you do if this has happened? I hope you have a nest box like the one I showed you. If you do not, the best thing you're going to be able to find quick is either a smaller plastic tub, or ideally a cardboard box of some kind, or a wood box or basket that maybe is like a home decor situation. Get something to contain the babies. Now, the reason you need that is so that they will stay in one spot. If out in the wild, she digs a hole and puts them in there. So that is to contain them. That's her baby containment device. So she can come find them and feed them. That's the biggest thing, is if they're rolling everywhere and she comes to the group of 2 or 3, but 2 or 3 are over here, they're going to miss out. They're not going to get fed. So it's not like she's going to go and collect them all together and go, come on, babies, come eat, right? So this is for her to be able to go to one spot, feed them, and leave and know that they are protected. So if you have some sort of device that you can use to keep them contained, use that. Hopefully you either have pine shavings or straw to put in that. Layer it with that enough just to pad the box so that they're not laying directly on it, because then they'll get squished, or, you know, if she lands on there. It depends on the size of your rabbit too. I will say this is coming from someone with, 13, 14 pound does. So I use a lot more bedding to keep the babies from getting stepped on. So if she has pulled fur, then you take some of that fur and layer it on top of the bedding of whatever you have available to you, ideally straw or pine bedding. Then take all the babies and put them in that pile all together. Put it off, the babies off to the side somewhere, so that where she lands, she doesn't land directly on them. I would not put them right in the middle of the box unless it's just too small. There's nowhere for you to put it off to the side. So you can make a nest quickly if you find them in time. If they are cold to the touch, you're going to have to warm them up first, or try, and hopefully you did. And it's, 70 plus, you have about 30 to 40 minutes to, get them in the box. If it's, 80 plus, they will last for a decent amount of time, but what you're going to run into is them getting out of the cage themselves, or limbs getting damaged, things like that. So it kind of gets a little more graphic after that. But either way, whatever you find, do your best to stack it back up and correct the situation. The reason I don't like plastic is it's very easy to dump. It's not heavy. You want a box that the doe can jump in and out of and not flip it, because then she's going to send the babies flying. So that is basically what I would do if you found a litter or had a litter unexpectedly with no nest box. They have to have one though. So do your best to find something. If you don't have it, you won't have time to build one, but you could do what you can and put them together in a box and then make one if you have to. They're really simple. They don't need to be anything, no fancy design, just 4 walls and a bottom. You don't need the top. That's bare minimum, and then they will be fine in that. That's what I've used for decades. So get a box that ideally is heavy where she won't flip it, or if you have nothing that's not heavy, use zip strips to tie it to at least on 2 points to the side of the cage, so when she gets in and out, it's not going to flip. The more solid, the better, because rabbits are very unsure-footed. If they don't feel solid on it, they're not going to want to get in there. So you don't want to set her up to a situation where she doesn't want to get in and feed the babies either. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you ran into a situation like that, drop your questions in the comments and I will answer them the best I can.